Hi guys, so today I'm going to be tying up this little bait fish pattern. It's pretty quick, only 10 or so minutes, maybe not even. Materials basically. So hook wise is an SA 270 Ahrex. This in 3/0. Hood thread is a 210 Danville's flat waxed, and then material wise, bit of bucktail, some saddle hackles, nice orange Schlappen, and some Nayat and angel hair mixed together, and a bit of crafty flash in there as well. So start off with just a small pinch of black bucktail as a base. So this is going to help stop fouling of the feathers. So basically just lay it all on top of the shank. A couple of loose wraps to make sure it's right, and then tighten it down. Then you're going to take your saddles. We're going to tie the two orange in at the same time. So two on the one side, basically just like a standard deceiver tail. Oh, actually, hold on, forgot to put my crafty flash in, so we'll do that first. A couple of strands of crafty flash. So again, I've just wrapped that around the bottom so it's all the way around. Line it up on top of the bucktail clump there, wrap it down. Trim that off. Now we're going to tie in our saddles, one on either side, two on either side of the orange. So a couple of wraps. Make sure those are pretty much parallel with the hook shank, so they're not going off at odd directions. And I'm just going to lay that on the side. And again, if you don't have a rotary vise, you don't need to turn it on its side, because I'm pretty sure you've learnt already how to put them on without making sure they're skew. Wrap down those once you're happy with the position. Trim off the butt ends. Now we're going to take our two black hackles. I'm going to tie these again, one on either side. I'm going to tie them just above where the orange hackles are, so they kind of sit up over the back. Obviously it doesn't really stay like that in the water, it's only going to look like that in the vise. That's how I like it to look. There we go. Trim off those butt ends. And neaten up the thread base. You can add a bit of super glue or something else, whatever else you want. Then we're going to take the Schlappen. Now, how I find where it will start to break is when I pull it down. You can just see where it kind of stiffens up a bit when you bend it, and that'll be my tie-in point. So I'm just tying this directly on top of the shank. Now there's only about, this is actually about the halfway, or a little bit further forward of the halfway mark. A couple of wraps to wrap it down. And again, you can palmer it however you want, but I have a Norvise, so I'm just going to use the function because it's got a nice little lock in there. So as I'm winding it forward, just making sure none of those fibers are trapped, just pulling them out. There we go. That's looking a bit better. Again, brush them out. None of them are trapped. Now again, one thing I do recommend getting is the Nor-vise bobbin, because it's auto rewind. So if you pull too much, you don't have to sit and wind it back in. You get very good thread control from it, because it's all one-handed. You don't need to let go of anything to wind your thread back in. Bobbin just goes in and out. So fly is almost done now. You could actually fish that quite like that, add some eyes, little semper. But now I'm going to take this Nayat and angel here, small little pinch. Just make sure that it's a nice little pre-tapered bundle. I'm going to tie this all on the bottom, sort of 60, 40, 40 to the front, 60 to the back. Make sure it's all up on top. And take a similar size, or slightly more, for the top. And again, 60, 40. Now I'm just pulling up the back end to make sure that it's all on top of the shank. I don't want it sliding down the sides. And then just turn it upside down. And if any of you watch Paul Monaghan's videos, he showed this trick the other day, and I never did it before, but I've started incorporating it. So I've just split that bottom bunch again, about 50%, and tied it back on down on top of itself, basically like a bullet tie, I suppose you'd call it. I think that's actually what he calls it as well. And all that does is it just gives you a really nice finish to the head, because you can keep the head really small without having to build a massive thread dam. And it's also a bit high tying these fibers back on top of itself. So the last stack here, I'm just going to build a thread dam in the front. So I've just pulled them back. Oops. Oops. Keep catching me thread on the little lump at the bottom. As you can see, that's nice, small and neat head. I hope you can see anyways, but you'll see the photos later. And then last but not least, we're going to stick some eyes on. So these are invisible tabs, just a nice clear tab that I spent a while getting the dimensions right, so it doesn't crush the fibers. What I've done is laid them on top of the 2D eyes. And then you're left with a nice little invisible tab. Because I like tab eyes, but I'm not a fan of the silver on them. Now you can glue these down as well. If you watch Giovanni videos, he uses the invisible tabs as well from me. He tends to coat the tops in 3D or in UV glue to make them a bit more 3D, and you can do that as well, but I don't. 1 or 2 wraps to hold it in place, make sure they are lined up, and then you just fold those tabs back on themselves, and that's just to lock them in. Trim off the excess tab, and those eyes are going nowhere. And that's your fly, just like that. Now you can trim a bit off as well if you want, neaten it up. but you don't need to because one cast and it looks like a dog's breakfast again. So I'm just going to use some Nayat super thin, soak into those threads just on the front of those tab eyes. That's it, that's your fly done once I hit it with the UV light. Little bait fish. I'll just trim it up a bit. Shorten those fibers a bit. Not too much. Just neaten it up. That is your fly. Lots of movement under the tail. Nice durable head. Tab eyes. Minimal glue. And that's it. Thanks for watching.